What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to drive a manual transmission car. Here I have a 2004 Nissan Sentra. It's a manual 5-speed. I'm going to be teaching you guys the basics of a manual transmission and the different functions that the car has and offers. When I first started driving a manual transmission car, I watched a lot of YouTube videos like you guys are right now, and I'll tell you guys that the videos did not help me really at all. It was more of a kickstart for me to kind of understand the basics and understand just a little bit about what a manual transmission is, but it didn't really help me learn. To learn how to drive this, you kind of have to have a manual transmission and you have to get on the road or in a parking lot like this, and you guys got to start practicing. That's how you get better. It's raining, it's cold, and I'm getting wet. Let me teach you guys. So let's go. Okay, so currently inside the car, and there's not too much different in terms of like what the interior of the car looks like, you know, from a automatic and a manual transmission. You still have your steering wheel, all the gauges, things, all this clicky stuff, everything. You have your e-brake, handbrake. Some cars have different types of handbrakes, the foot brake, but this car has a handbrake. And the only difference between a manual transmission and an automatic transmission, there's really two things that are different. You have your shift stick, which is like, you know, the bread and butter, the main part of the manual transmission, and you have a third pedal, which is the clutch. There are three pedals: the clutch, the brake, and the gas pedal. The clutch will be farthest left, and the gas is farthest right. The gas is a different shape. It's like a rectangular shape. These are more of like a discombobulated square shape thing. This car is a 5-speed manual transmission, so there are 5 gears. Some manual transmissions are 6-speed, and for any of you guys that drive a 6-speed, there's not really a big difference in what you have to do. The only difference is there's 6 gears instead of 5 gears, and the reverse is, I think, far left instead of all the way to the bottom right. I'll pop up a picture of what a 6-speed manual transmission looks like. But anyways, as you can see, this shift knob, it's a custom shift knob. Some of them, when I first got this car, it had just kind of a standard black shift knob, and it didn't have the numbers and the reverse on it. Anyway, so starting off, to shift the car, you always have to push down on the clutch. Push down on the clutch and you'll be able to shift. Without pushing down on the clutch, you can still shift, but you can still shift when you're in park, but when you're driving, you obviously can't shift. So when you're driving, push down on the clutch and you can shift. So here are the gears: first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and 5th gear, which is all the way to the top right, and then reverse, which is the bottom right. If you guys didn't know, automatic transmission cars have gears too. All cars have gears, but it's called a manual for a reason. You are manually shifting the car into the different gears. When you start off driving, you will be in first gear, and once the RPM raises to about 3,000 RPM, or you hear the engine screaming a bit, then that's when you know it's time to shift. So you'll shift to second gear, and so on and so forth. There's also something called downshifting, but that's a little more advanced. For now, you just want to learn, you know, the basics of this. So obviously when you start off driving the car, you will go in first gear, second, third. First gear is mainly like parking lot, you know, starting off. Second gear is picking up speed, you know, in slower areas. Third gear is more like neighborhoods, residential areas. Fourth gear is like longer roads. Fourth and fifth are usually highway gears. To properly start a manual car, you put the key in the key hole, turn it. Now here's the big thing: you don't just want to start the car. With a manual, it's not like an automatic transmission where you just start the car and, you know, the car started. This car, when you start, before you turn the car to start it, put your foot down, push your foot on the clutch, farthest to the left, put your foot down on the clutch, and make sure you're not in any gears. Usually when you park your car in a manual transmission, you'll be in gear to make sure your car doesn't roll. Make sure your car is out of gear. Make sure it's in neutral, which means you're able to shake it back and forth. Because if you're not, then your car will jump and you can potentially hit people, hit cars in front of you, or just damage your engine. So make sure you're in neutral by shaking it back and forth. Push down on the clutch and turn the key. And then slowly let go of the clutch. And there you go. The car is started. And that's how you start a manual transmission car. So in this video, I'm going to just kind of teach you the basics of how to get the car rolling. I'm not going to be showing you guys how to fully like drive on the road yet, but just kind of in this parking lot, I'm going to show you guys how to just start rolling, how to get going in first and second gear. But to start driving, put your foot on the brake with your right foot, just because you're letting off the handbrake. Handbrake's on, handbrake's off, handbrake's on, handbrake's off. You're neutral, right? Get into first gear, push the clutch all the way down, let go of the brake, push the clutch all the way down, and shift it into first gear. Now what you want to do is slightly tap on the gas. Slightly tap on the gas, the RPM will start to go up, and start slowly let go of the clutch. Slowly let go of the clutch, and give it more gas, and then you're off. Let's do that again. So, foot all the way down on the clutch, first gear, and slowly give it gas. Just tap the gas pedal slightly. The RPM will start to raise, and then slowly let go of the clutch as the RPM goes up, and then you're rolling in first gear. So let's do that one more time, and then we'll head into second gear. I think I'll make a right here. Make sure to use your turn signals, but I'm gonna be a rebel and not do that. So push down on the clutch, first gear, slightly tap the gas, start turning your wheel, the RPM goes up, let go of the clutch as you're still giving it gas. Now I could kind of just stay here in first gear, but I want to pick up speed, right? So as I pick up speed, I give it more gas, I'm picking up speed. You'll hear the car start to scream. I'm gonna just avoid this speed bump. You'll hear the car start to rev. It's about 3, push down on the clutch and go into second gear. So now we're in second gear. Going into second gear is the same as going into first gear. You're gonna push down on the clutch and just shift it into second gear as you're rolling, give it gas, and slowly let go of the clutch. As you let go of the clutch, just slightly give it more gas. Because if you don't, then the car will shake and it will do a bunch of funny stuff. So always, it takes time and it takes practice, but you know, practice makes perfect, and it just takes its muscle memory. And some cars are different. I've driven some manual cars that the clutch is way different and the shifting is way different than this car. I'm used to this car, and all cars are different, but it's something when if you have a manual transmission, or if you're thinking about getting one, it's something that you're going to have to play around with, and you'll have to get that feel down, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of the basics on how to drive a manual transmission. I know it's not the best video and there's a lot better videos out there, but this is kind of my 2 cents on how to drive a manual transmission. When I first started driving a manual transmission, I almost gave up. I almost never drove a manual transmission because I started getting on the road and I started, you know, it's like I almost forgot how to drive. I was good with driving a automatic transmission, but I almost kind of forgot how to drive when I drove manual because I was so focused on shifting and clutch and this and that I forgot. Like, there was times where I forgot to use the turn signal and like wipers when it was raining. So it just takes time and practice, and you know, with persistence and perseverance, but over time you'll get it. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys want a more in-depth video when it's not raining outside, or I could maybe set up the camera and get better angles and stuff, let me know. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode or video. Peace.